I think some of the beliefs that you have, and I know personally we've had many chats in the past, Harvey, and I think that community involvement and wanting to help our local communities thrive is massively important. And could we just drill down a little bit into the strategy of Horizon and the two sort of sectors that you try to serve?
Yeah, you're right, Nazim. It's all about community, and we set out. I did a lot of work, actually, 2008, 2010, around long-term property investment, and we used the banking markets. They shut down at that point. So what we tried to do was approach the institutional equity market and say, look, you like this long-term, high-quality income. We can put it to work in good, secure places while doing some good, what we call a positive social impact, which is all about what you can do for your community. So the first fund we launched was social housing, especially social housing for vulnerable adults that historically had been in institutional care and long-term hospital care, but they didn't really need that. They weren't right for that, either clinically or personally. They weren't benefiting from that. They were just being looked after under the obligation to look after them. That was the only place they could go. So what we call supported living, independent living, is where those certain adults can go into an independent home with a care package. That is their lifetime home, and they thrive and flourish. They get looked after on what they need with the care package. They get out and do activities or jobs, but they're back home safe in a proper institutional quality home, serviced by a care provider, a social housing association, and we provide the home. So put together, that's a very long-term commitment, and we've rolled out nearly 2,000 of these homes across the UK, across the two funds, and we take a lot of pride in the fact we've got those people out of institutional care into independent living, and we want to do more of that. So
that's admirable, and I think that group of people actually prefer and want to be independent, don't they? So you're facilitating the needs of them, and that's massively important.
Well, we did a site visit up in Chesterfield a few weeks ago at one of your sites, Nazim, and you and I come alive at those sorts of visits. But the best day of the year is where we do our annual, what I call our tour of the properties, where we get to meet our residents, where we get to meet our carers, and it's heartwarming. I mean, that's the day that reminds you why you do this and why you should do as much as you can and do more. And seeing what you're doing on your property, which is taking something that's a magnificent building. Actually, it's more than that; it's quite substantial. But that's the sort. We look at those opportunities in the same way. There's effectively a derelict but magnificent building that needs someone to bring it back to life, regenerate it, and put it to the best use it can. And I know you've got admirable plans for care and support in there across the whole range of sort of tenures. So we're doing very similar things. I think we're wired very similar. We feel good about what we do, and even speaking about it, I'm just thinking, what can I do next to get more of this, really? And I hope that some of this message might allow some people to give us a call. How can they help? How can they get involved? Principally, more capital, more good people with our similar ethos that can take this out. So,
how would somebody get in touch with you? Well, email address?
Our website. I mean, we're big on the doing. We're not so good at.
But specifically, how would they get in touch?
So there's Harvey at horizon-infra.com. We can put some details out, I'm sure, on the message, and just drop us a line. Come and have a chat. If we share our passion, we can work together. That's it. We're very simple folk. We put values at the heart of what we do. If we share the values, we'll be able to work together. And
people are fascinating, aren't they? And we talk about service users and supporting people to live at home. Those people cannot live at home without, and I call them our care heroes, the superheroes, the people that were in the front line with the pandemic, that risked their own personal safety, risked their family's personal safety. The challenge, presumably, and part of your strategy, because I know we've talked about this, is to provide affordable accommodation for key workers. And if we don't actually provide that accommodation, it's going to be very, very difficult to deliver those services. So where does that feature in your future?
Well, that's back to your first question, or second question about cost of living. I mean, even without the current inflationary position, key workers are finding it very challenging to meet the cost of living. So actually, we do some work around the Watford area in West Herts to do with the NHS, and we cannot attract staff because of the cost of living barrier. It's just simply expensive to get somewhere to live, and so that's a real challenge for us. And I think that's something we've all got to try and meet over the next few years in terms of how we deliver it, what we deliver, good value, done efficiently, and maybe back to that point where we need to make our resources go as far as they can with what we have. You know, there's always a restriction on that. So, yeah, we need to bring back into use properties that should be and could be used. We need to look at how we deliver that cost-wise and speed-wise. When you work for yourself, you can make things happen. That's probably the main reason why I like being in this situation is I don't have to wait for too many people to approve or say yes or discuss or question. I can, within reason, start the day with an idea and get on with it and make real progress by talking direct. And that's why I welcome, give us a call. Don't wait. Don't be too formal. Come and chat. Let's work together and see what we can do. So big challenges. They're growing, but we've done a lot, and we look forward with confidence with that. Actually, there's a lot of resourceful people with drive that are wired to do good things, and we want to find those people.